I'm NeverSink, and this is a video about the Path of Exile 2.0 Exploding Arrow Scion, or as I call her, the Bombshell Scion. This build uses Explosive Arrow for both multi-target and single-target. It is also a build that can be played completely or nearly completely self-found. In fact, every single item you'll see during this video was actually farmed with this build within 3 days, including the Imperial Bow uniques, including the Divination Distillate, all the equipment, and 3 Exalted Orbs. This build relies on a concept called the layered defense. We use a lot of different defense mechanics, such as evasion, dodge, spell dodge, Arctic armor, enduring cry, and also immortal call, to survive and to provide a very high survivability for the setup. This setup also can stack a lot of magic find, making it a great build if you've just started playing Path of Exile, or if you're starting to play in a new league. In addition to this, you can sacrifice critical strike chance or magic find in order to stack more health point. The video you currently see is a level 80 character. It was farmed and created within 3 days. If I wouldn't be playing self-found, or if I was actually stacking less magic find, I could easily have more than 4.5k health points, or if I would play on hardcore over 5000 health points at this level, which is a very decent amount of life. Explosive Arrow is a very special skill in Path of Exile. It can only be scaled by fire damage, elemental damage, area damage, and projectile damage. In fact, weapon elemental damage and bow damage and weapon damage at all do not scale the Explosive Arrow in any way. This also includes a damage and critical strike damage and critical strike chance with bows. This kind of makes the Explosive Arrow skill hard to scale. However, with the introduction of slower projectiles gem in Path of Exile Awakening and the introduction of jewels, Explosive Arrow received a lot of new options to scale it efficiently, which basically gave birth to this setup. This build also utilizes double curses, Assassin's Mark and Flammability. These curses can be replaced with defenses curses or other options such as Elemental Weakness. Also, this build uses Elemental Equilibrium and the Fire Penetration gem, combined with several more multipliers from Frenzy Charges, Concentrate Effect, or Area of Effect stacking and overlapping. This build can dish out pretty much monstrous damage and insta-kill a lot of bosses, if it ignites them or critical strikes them. Even if it doesn't do it, the damage it does is very high and on par with most builds. Due to the high base damage and the more multiplier scaling of this build, we do not use Anger or any other aggressive aura reservations. Instead, we use Arctic armor, clarity, and if you decide to run a slower or a better bow, you can also use things like Mind over Matter or Grace. This allows the build to stack some impressive survivability while still dishing out very high damage. This build also uses several utility spells, such as the Blink Arrow, which is very fast if used with a Quill Rain. It also uses a Curse and Hit Split Arrow chain. Finally, it uses Enduring Cry Immortal Core combo and the Ice Golem. The Ice Golem can be replaced with any other golem. As you can see in the video, the build clears efficiently while finding quite a lot of rares. This is caused by the higher magic find. This map is nothing special. It's not exactly a very hard or a very easy map. It's an average map level 72, but it does clear pretty well for a character that was created 2 or 3 days ago. Right now you can actually see the worst case scenario. If you neither crit nor ignite a boss. In any other case the bot would be dead seconds ago. So yeah, let's jump into the build itself. I hope you like it. because I did not crit, by the way. Z crit. So even if you don't crit low, he will actually die with burning damage. And if you crit, he will likely die in a second or instantly. So yeah, I guess it works out. Right now, I'm using another falling to my ultimate explosive arrow increase earth effect, fire penetration, and great damage projectiles. So the high attacks with the full range, you don't need to use power attacks. Even with just small things like damage of explosive arrow is very hard. This arrow effect the arrow effect overlap. Also very fatal explosion and falling There's also a clarity link here. The clarity link can be actually moved here and a molten shell or a similar setup can be introduced here. Sadly, however, currently I have corrupted my query for 5% chance to cause monsters to flee and I don't have the available sockets to link clarity somewhere else. There are also some other options that you can run. If you want, you can run Val Haste, Val Grace, Val Molten Shell. You can also use Rallying Cry instead of Enduring Cry, yet I feel like Enduring Cry provides a very high benefit. Item rarity is a good option. While leveling, you can use fire gems. Flameless, Val Flameless, Val Fireball and Fireball are very nice gems for leveling. The fire damage and projectile damage you grab also benefits them. Okay, let's talk about items and weapons for a second. Explosive arrow does not scale with physical damage and is not affected by weapon or more damage. This makes Quirain one of the best weapons for explosive arrow. The high attack speed and the high projectile speed makes it a very important choice. Optionally, you can also use something like a Death Harp. The Death Harp provides a huge critical strike multiplier and an additional arrow. There are also other choices such as a +2 or +3 to gem level bows with attack speed and critical strike multiplier. However, those options are more designed for endgame characters who also have a lot of currency. For the start, I'd recommend grabbing Quirain since it gives you a very smooth gameplay. In addition to the general explosive arrow, you can also move very fast using blink arrow, which can help you to avoid a lot of tricky and danger situations. Finally, the Quirain has the advantage to have no implicit. Considering how cheap and how common it is, you can corrupt Quirains to gain effects such as chance to flee, additional arrows, fire damage leech, or power charges or culling strike. This build does not require any uniques except for the Quirain bow or the Death Harp bow. My helmet is a random helmet with life resistance and rarity. So is my amulet and so is my ring. I've crafted my armor myself from random 5-link. You don't need a 5-link to run this build, a 4-link is completely sufficient. I'm using the 5-link out of comfort reasons. I'm using split arrow and chain instead of rain of arrows to apply curse hit on my opponents. My quiver is a random rare quiver. It's important to know that the 26% elemental weapon damage does nothing for the build. The 1 to 2 cold damage however is very important. It is used to proc elemental reaver. It's actually important to know that the elemental reaver is a very good node here. Because of the nature of explosive arrow, you can first stack up arrows and reduce the resistances of your enemies using things such as split arrow chain. once the explosion happens, all your enemies will have reduced elemental resistances. Obviously, after the explosion, they'll have increased elemental resistance against fire, but then you can reduce this once again if they're still alive with the splitter. Okay, to proceed, I'm using the Overseas Gauntlets to stack some magic find and some elemental resistances. I'm using the Blood Dance Boots. The Blood Dance Boots are totally not required. You can play without them, you can play with a serious step, you can use things like Sundance or like Capture-Kyrisu instead. You can also use just some rare random boots. You can also run Blood Rage by yourself. However, I was lucky enough to find the Blood Dance, and it's actually a good item for this build. We can get up to 8 frenzy charges depending on the corruptions and the rewards, and with 8 frenzy charges you would gain 8% life regenerations per second, which is great, and provides another layer of defense. Several good uniques that you can use with this build, especially the chest slot can be used with a lot of different uniques. The Restless Horde is one of the good candidates, so is the Cloak of Flame due to the ignite reactions, the fire resist and the chance to ignite. The physical damage taken as fire damage is also a nice layer in defense. You can also use other defensive options such as Valley of the Beast, Lightning Coil, or even Calm's Heart if you can find the sockets and the links. Finally, there are other interesting options, especially the options Greed's Embrace and the option Carcass Jack are great unique chest armors that you can use. It's also important to note that the bow choices are kind of limited to Quirain, Death Harp, and to rare bows with +2 or +3 level to fire or to bow gems, in addition to attack speed and critical strike rating. Your general bows such as Shinso, Alliance and Clear are actually pretty bad choices here. I'm using 2 life flasks with this build. A consistent life flask with evasion rating and charge recovery to heal me over the whole fight, and a life flask with shield and freeze immunity and instant recovery for complicated situations. I also use a mana flask. Sustaining the mana of explosive arrow without a mana flask is rather important during a long fight. Despite clarity, you can run out of mana very fast. This is due to the very high attack speed of Quirain and the very high mana cost of explosive arrow. With a mana flask, sustaining the mana cost of explosive arrow is a lot easier. I'm also using the Divination Distillate. The Divination Distillate is used for 2 purposes. The obvious purpose is a magic finding purpose. However, the Divination Distillate also provides a nice edge against reflect maps or reflect mobs. With a 6% to all maximum elemental resistances, you are way more likely to survive high reflect damage. It's also important to note that with the improvements to Eternal Mana Flask, or to Mana Flask in general, in the Awakening, the Mana Flask can hold 5 charges. 40 charges and 85 charges each, so and lasts 6 seconds. This can be used to provide with useful other benefits such as bleeding immunity or curse immunity or stun recovery using the Eternal Mana Flask. Finally, I'm using a Quicksilver Flask with forward charge recovery and movement speed to get me through the map faster. There are a lot of other things to talk about. Things such as the way explosive arrows stack, or element reflect, or the full list of viable unique ideas, options, and itemization options. Finally, there are things to talk about such as the way one could give hardcore. Other things to talk about are topics such as itemization during the endgame, the way this build can be expanded in order to be viable during the endgame encounters such as Überserie. Other things to talk about are topics such as itemization during the endgame, the way this build can be expanded in order to be viable during the endgame encounters such as Überserie. This build and this guide was tested during the Path of Exile 2.0 beta, The Awakening. This means that there will be likely small or major changes to this build during the next weeks or months. I'll be creating a full guide describing the way this build works in detail and the mess and the interesting itemization and endgame options for it. You can find the skill tree for this build in the video description. So, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for watching, I'm NeverSink, and it's actually my first video, so if you got any suggestions or critics, please do tell me. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.